back on Wednesday. Always pleased to speak to our next guest. Jennifer FitzPatrick is the founder of Generations Health Education, 20 years plus of experience in healthcare, and she's also a gerontology instructor at Johns Hopkins University's Certificate on Aging program. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Gosh, it's cold up there.
Yes, just a little frigid. Let me ask you, what's the weather like where you are today, and where are you today?
I'm in Maryland, but it's maybe 35 or something, so I thought it was cold here, but I was wrong.
Yeah, no. That's short weather here, okay?
Yes.
Well, always pleased to talk to you, Jen, and this is a really timely topic. I mean, you know, everybody this time of year gets stressed out about making sure that they have the right presents and making sure those presents are wrapped and put under the tree, and maybe the holiday baking gets done. But there's a whole other level of stress for those who are caregivers, and when it comes to the holidays, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're a family caregiver at the holiday time, there's all kinds of questions that come up. Should I bring my loved one to the family function? Is it okay to travel? You know, how do I make sure that my loved one's getting their needs met? So it adds another layer of stress to the holiday season.
And life can spin out of control pretty quickly when you are caregiving for someone else.
Right. So that's what inspired me to write my book, Cruising Through Caregiving. Every chapter is a different way that a family caregiver can reduce their stress, because anytime you have to be responsible for somebody, even if it's small things that you're doing, maybe you're helping out with a parent here and there. Maybe a lot of times people think about caregiving, they think, oh, it's when your mom moves in with you. Not necessarily. A lot of caregiving is done. Your parent maybe lives independently, but you take them to the doctor. Maybe you're getting those middle of the night phone calls when somebody falls. But the Cruising Through Caregiving talks about how do you reduce your stress? How do you make sure your loved one gets the best possible care while you are able to just be sane yourself?
Well, let's talk a little bit about ways to cope with caregiver stress. Jennifer, if you could give us a couple of hints, that would be wonderful.
So for the first, and the big one, and every caregiving expert says this, do not do it by yourself. If you are in a caregiving situation, listen, if it's a loved one has a surgery and they need like 2 or 3 weeks of help, that's one thing. But if there's a chronic illness or even an acute illness where the person might be sick for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, it's really important to assemble a team, or I call it in Cruising Through Caregiving, a caregiving crew. And, you know, if you're a spouse or if you're an adult child, maybe you're the captain of the caregiving ship. But you want to have lots of people around you that help, whether maybe they bring meals. Maybe they arrange to, plow your driveway if it snows. Maybe they are stopping by just to hang out with your loved one while you go get your hair done. So it's really, really crucial that you assemble a team. And if there's not a lot of family local, you look to your friends. You look to the faith community that you have. You look to your loved one's friends. Sometimes I think people overlook the fact that their parents' friends can contribute. So the other piece of it is don't overlook the idea of paid help or even volunteer help. Again, like I said, your faith community. But there's actually a really great resource that helps both caregivers of loved ones with dementia in both the United States as well as Canada, and it's called Hilarity for Charity, or HFC, and it was developed by Seth Rogen and his wife Lauren Miller Rogen, free respite care for dementia caregivers. And if you want to apply for a grant, if you don't have a lot of people in your life helping out, the website is wearehfc.org.
Okay, that is great to know, and that's a wonderful resource. I know we've talked about that before. Talk to us, Jennifer, if you could, about caregiver guilt, because I know that I'm of the age, and my friends are of the age, where now we are starting to, have to take a bigger role in our parents' lives. And if sometimes you can't make that, appointment today, or can't make it there to help with some sort of task, caregiver guilt is a very real thing.
And it's usually unfounded. It's usually people that feel guilty as caregivers typically are not guilty. They don't deserve to feel guilty because they haven't done anything wrong. And so what I remind family caregivers to do is examine, well, what exactly have you done wrong? If it's, okay, I have a job and I can't make every doctor's appointment, well, that's human. Or, I don't want to live with my mom, or I don't want my mom living with me. There's nothing wrong about that. Everybody needs to set boundaries. And if you have boundaries like, okay, I have a job, there's certain things I have to do for my job. I have my own children. There's certain things I need to do for them to make sure they're happy and healthy and safe. Having boundaries, I think, a lot of times the people that feel guilty are doing the most. And you've got to remember, there's countless people out there who have loved ones that are sick and old, and they're not doing anything. So it's really, you got to let yourself off the hook and just decide what can you do, whether you can give your money, you can give your energy, you can give your time, or all three. But most of the people that feel guilty don't deserve to, and I recommend they either talk to a good psychotherapist or perhaps more importantly, go to a caregiver support group.
Yeah, I think that is actually a very good idea. And I was going to just ask you finally, how do you push through the obstacles of living a normal life if you're caregiving? And, again, support is key.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was just saying, I finally wanted to talk about how you can push through the obstacles of living a normal life when you're a caregiver. And support, as you say, is key.
You have to say, you got to set yourself boundaries. And I think the new year, the holiday season is a great time to say, how did things go last year? How did things go in 2022? What did I sacrifice in the name of caregiving? Was I late to work 12 times in the past year? Or did I miss 10 of my kids' soccer games or recitals or what have you? So, and that's okay if you're all right with that. But if you're not, how do you want to do it differently next year? And this is the time to evaluate, do I need to apply for a grant from a group like HFC? Do I need to ask family, friends, people from my faith community to do more? Caregiving should be part of your life, and it can be a big part of your life. But if it's your whole life, it's your entire identity, you've got a problem, because you're not, first of all, your loved one is going to pass away at some point, and then you're going to be without a role in life. And so you got to keep up your other interests. You got to keep up your other relationships. Caregiving, if you are devoting all of your time to caregiving, read Cruising Through Caregiving. It'll help you figure out how to get out of what I call the martyr syndrome.
Yeah, and that is absolutely key. And I'm just taking a look. Check out Amazon right now and pick up that book if you are a caregiver. It is going to give you a ton of help. Jennifer, always good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays, and stay warm.
Yes, you too. All right,
Bye.
You bet. Jennifer FitzPatrick. And again, the book is called Cruising Through Caregiving. Just looking on Amazon. You can get the Kindle version for $5.99. Paperback is $18.69. But if you are a caregiver, support, as Jennifer mentioned, is key. So that book might be one of the first ways you get some support.